I don't give a fuck what you guys say.
Brother, this guy stinks.
Marshall's very angry today. I don't care what you guys say. That intro goes hard. I don't give a fuck. It's gonna grow on everybody. I don't care. I know I got a lot of shit for it, but it's the shit.
Hey, like what you like, TJ. No judgment.
Okay. Thank you so much, Vader. Thank you so much, Vader. No, I don't like dubstep. I like that one. I like that dubstep. That gets me going. That gets me ready to listen to some of that gets me ready to listen to some of Ahmed's bullshit. Like that, it gets me ready. You know what I mean?
Nah, fair enough.
Yeah. No, you got to do what you got to do to prepare for the game. You know what I mean? Unlike what Vinny did. Do the opposite of what Vinny did, right? Well, anyway, big up everybody. Welcome back. American Waffle 71. Where do we want to start today? Marshall's angry about Chelsea. I want to talk about that. Vader got a good victory, a good dub. I actually got up and watched that one. Oh my goodness, that was a hell of a comeback. You got some good youngsters in that squad, Vader. We can talk about that. Vader, Das gets the dub, to be expected.
Is anyone still paying attention to Liverpool?
No,
really?
Not really.
Yeah.
Guard of everybody's taking bets on where the Guard of Honor is going to land. And I hope it lands at Tottenham Hotspur so they can figure out what a Premier League trophy looks like. That's as close as they're going to get to it. And then Will had a very bad week, which we're all going to laugh at him because it's hilarious. But that being said, though, Will, the amount of bullshit that I am hearing from my fan base about the return fixture, about, they could come back, all this bullshit. I'm like, you guys are cowards. Like, now I'm actually sticking my chest out. We're going through. Arsenal are going through. But yeah, where do you guys want to start? Big up, everybody. Where do you guys want to start? Speak up. Let's go.
Can we start with, like, you must be on the juice because you had no chest going into this.
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't. You're right. 100%.
And now you're talking about you're going in with chest now. Like, what did you do over the course of the week? What kind of roids? What?
Yeah. No, like my opinions can change. We have a 3-0 lead going into the Bernabeu against a really, really poor Real Madrid side.
Yeah, Vader, why are we acting like opinions can't change? Vader is the type that, once you say something, you got to stick by it. That's it, no matter what. No, so when Pep goes through some bad times, you better stick through Pep the whole entire time. I don't want to hear you say Pep out once.
Yeah, did you hear me say Pep out?
Vader, the reason why, the reason he can speak with chess right now is because, I mean, if you look at the game objectively, like Declan Rice's brilliance is the only reason why Arsenal is ahead when it comes to getting the ball over the line. 2 free kicks, completely unexpected from 25 yards and 30 yards. It's not very often that someone scores 1 of those in a season, let alone 2 of those in a single game in a quarterfinal against Real Madrid at home.
Right? Within 5 minutes of each other.
Exactly. But outside of that, Arsenal had the plethora of opportunities. I mean, Real Madrid basically didn't do anything. Courtois made a save like 15 minutes in from a header that was 3 feet in front of him from Declan Rice. Makes a world-class save off of a header. Immediately, that could have been 1-0 to just start the whole thing off. Then they would have been in real deep shit, right? But they had many of those. Arsenal had a lot of chances from open play. They just couldn't get the ball over the line, and that's been the same script, right? Like nothing has changed. Arsenal get tons of chances. They miss tons of chances. Declan Rice showed up. He put the ball in the back of the net. They're up 3-0. Like, historically speaking, you can speak with trauma, but the energy can change because you played them off the park. You didn't give anything away.
Okay, Mike. I'm okay with the energy. I'm okay with the change of opinion. This chest that TJ has, where is he giving credit to? Because I heard you talk about Declan Rice often, but there is someone that's got to put these players into position. There is someone that's got to give these players.
Here we go.
There is someone that's got to give them the motivation and the belief to do what they did. This Arnold Schwarzenegger chest that TJ's displaying right now.
Oh shit!
Who you giving credit Who you giving credit to, TJ?
I'm giving credit to Declan Rice for not listening to the coach's advice and actually hitting the shit out of it from that far out when Thibaut Courtois, especially on the first one, wasn't respecting him. He gave him that entire left side of the net.
Okay, that's one.
The fact that he bent it around him like Beckham, it was insane.
Okay,
one of the best goals.
That's one of the 3 goals.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
And you giving Declan Rice credit for the 2 other goals and
2 goals.
Sheet?
Yep, yeah. 2 goals, and then the one I will give Arteta credit for the way that he set up defensively against Real Madrid. I will give him credit for that.
Wow.
I think Real Madrid didn't know what to do with us.
I didn't
think
expect that from you.
our inverted fullbacks just absolutely ate them alive. You had to get out your fingers and toes to count how many times Miles Lewis-Skelly looked dangerous in the final third, just inverting from that left back position.
I did not expect you to give Arteta credit. I did not expect.
What about against Brentford? Do you give him defensive credit against Brentford?
No, I see Brentford. I don't give a fuck about. Like I said that on the match reaction. Like, who cares? Nobody really cares. Like, Nottingham Forest lost, so who really cares? Like, if Nottingham Forest had won, then I think I would be more upset. But that was more of a rubber game anyway. Like, we're gonna get second. The league is over. Who cares? Focus on it. And the starting lineup gave away that we don't give a shit about this league, and I'm glad. I'm really glad. We need to focus on what we can win, and that's the bigger trophy in Europe. I think we have a shot to do it because we're going to play our best game in and game out. We're not concentrating on the league. That was my big problem with the way we handled Bayern Munich last season. We handled that like a fucking warm-up game when it was a quarterfinal of the Champions League. Because we were so focused on the league. Now we are focused on the Champions League, which is what we need, where we need to be. Like,
TJ, how do you do this? How do
I do what?
How do you live with yourself? How are you able to sleep at night?
With some melatonin, maybe a little nightcap.
Listen. You're
pillows,
all over the place.
Two pillows.
Two pillows. Okay, you're all over the place, and
how am I all over the place? I think. See, here's the thing. I'm sitting here analyzing the match, and I know I'm cooking because Doss is sitting there nodding his head. Will is over there playing Pokemon. He's also nodding his head. Like, I'm cooking. Don't worry about it. It's fine. You hear the sizzle.
Hold on. Will's depressed. We need to make sure we're here as a friend to watch out for him. Keep him away from any sharp objects.
I'm chilling, bro.
Oh, he's chilling.
The remontada is
Vader.
Okay, we'll get to that.
We can't
get
here.
No, one second. Okay. We'll get to that. The reason why I got to press TJ a little bit is because he's talking about what he's about to do or what he's capable to do in the UCL, right? But let's be real. He's manager out. So this is where
I'm manager out, yes.
A manager that's given you this belief, and now it's all hinging on whether he wins.
You're acting like the player nothing to do with it. I think that's absolutely hilarious.
I think Vader, you're given like one right doesn't rectify a million wrongs, right? Okay. And ultimately, with this performance, like the reason why I can't sit there
such a wind up on it.
I can't say that like we need to give a massive amount of credit to Arteta because the Real Madrid fan here was sitting here saying we can't do shit. We can't control games in the midfield. We can't, string together attacks. Our defense is incredibly shaky, and we don't even have starters in the back line. Yes,
kept a clean sheet, Mike.
Arteta has kept clean sheets against people this season.
But this is Real Madrid. Vinny, 100%. Mbappe, Rodrigo.
They didn't, and they only looked dangerous like 2 or 3 times the entire.
You're taking it out of context. Like, don't even look at the attack. Was Real Madrid able to even build up out of the back without being pressed? No. So how can I sit here and say that Arteta is the genius? Like, yes, he did good.
Arteta's the one that did the pressing.
Arteta did good.
No.
And also, just before
he did good, but it's nothing more than good, bro. This is 2 free kick goals.
No, you gotta get let Will in.
One comment to make, and then the floor is yours. Arteta also wanted Declan Rice, and Declan Rice is producing for him.
Yep.
Okay, I mean, like, that's fair. But at the same time, I've been trying to tell you guys how shit Madrid have been. I get it, right? Like, most people don't watch La Liga week in, week out. We've been awful. There's a reason why I'm Carlo out, and we just won the UCL last season. Like, this has been one of the worst seasons that I can remember in 10 years of being a fan. Like, this is up there with Zidane's last season, and we went trophyless that year. Like, Carlo's been awful. There's no tactics. That, like, bro, we're losing 2-0. On the bench, you got Arda, you got Endrick, you got Brahim Diaz, right? You got all these people that can come on and maybe give you something in the final third. You know what Carlo's first sub was? Lucas Vasquez at right back. Like, this guy is a fraud. The football has left him, okay? Like, big up to him for all that he's done. I'm not surprised that we lost because I thought that we would draw. But I thought that we would Arsenal won. I did think that a 2-1 would have been possible. Now, 3-0, did not see that coming. I don't think anybody is going to sit here and say, oh, no, well, they knew that we were going to get battered. No, we didn't. And the thing that pisses me off is I'm not mad at us conceding 3 goals. Like, those 2 free kicks, I mean, like, what can you do about it? Especially the second one. Like, no goalkeeper is saving that. And I think that Mikel Merino, he struck the ball really well. Like, those are perfectly timed shots.
That was one of the best finishes I've seen from an Arsenal striker this season, period.
Bro, like those 3 goals, you just hold your hand up and say fair play. But what really pisses me off is that at not one point in time in that game did we look like the better team. Especially the second half was awful. So, look, it is what it is.
You guys did miss your chances too, though, you know.
Well, I mean, aside from like that Mbappe chance, I don't think that we really did.
We didn't really have.
But if that Mbappe chance goes in, it might change the tide of the game and the emotions in the game.
No, that is true. But at the same time, why did we only create that one opportunity? It's like we could have done more, but we didn't. And that's the thing. So I think we have a 10% chance of advancing. I think 3 goals is not enough for me to say it's 100% over. Now, if Arsenal were to score 4, I'd say, yeah, but like 3, all that it takes is for us to just score in the opening 20 minutes. If we can get the first goal, then I think it's game on. But we have to be perfect because if at any point in time that in this second leg, if we concede 1 goal, it's over. So we would have to play the best game of our life. But at the same time, I've seen a lot of craziness happen at the Bernabeu. Vader, you remember?
Yeah, I do.
You remember 1% chance before Rodrigo enters.
Yeah.
3 goals scored in 2 minutes in added time. Like, things can go really quickly. So,
I mean, the penalty can happen here or there.
Yeah, but the thing is,
hold on, just 1 second, Mike. Like last thing,
go.
Yeah, so based off how we played this season, I have no proof of concept that we'll actually be able to turn it around. But I always use the analogy. It's like religion. Like, I don't have any proof that God exists, but I believe. It's just faith. Like, I just have faith that my team can go out there and do the job. You know what I'm saying? Because based off this season, we should get smashed. But I just believe I have blind faith in my boys.
I'm not a gambling guy, but just saying the latest odds are 500 are plus 500 for Real Madrid to advance.
I just think for me,
there's a massive caveat here though, because everything that Will just said is predicated only on Real Madrid, but I don't think Real Madrid have anything to do with the outcome of this tie. Like, you guys have been inconsistent in the Champions League all season. You can say what you want historically about them being bad and then coming back. I don't care. Eventually history's broken, right? But to me, it's all going to come down to Arteta, just to bring it back to Vader. It's going to come down to how he decides to play this game. It's going to come down to how he instructs them to play. If Arsenal start this game and they treat it like it's 0-0 and they need to go and they need to win by 3-0 again and do the exact same performance, I don't think you guys have a shot in the fucking universe, because Arsenal's problem is not conceding goals. They've been shit this season because they can't score, but they're the 3rd best defense in Europe. And you're asking them to score 3 goals against them when who'd you guys lose to the other weekend? Valencia 2-1. Like, you guys are not exactly scoring at will this season, even in the Champions League. So to me, if Arteta rises to the occasion and says, we're forgetting aggregate and we're pretending like this is a 0-0 final and we need to win this game, I think that they're going to win. But if they go into that game and they're at all defensive, they're at all pragmatic, that for any reason they're saying we don't need to score, I think that that's when Real Madrid can make something happen. But it has more to do with Arsenal.
So you think that Arsenal should play the second leg like it's the first leg, like the same exact tactics?
They should forget. No. I'm not saying the same exact tactics, but you should go in there and you should attack this team. You should not go to the Bernabeu and sit on your hands because you're up 3-0.
We're gonna get.
Remember,
go ahead. And then I'm going to
because I'm the only one here who's been on the other end of that in a semifinal and actually won the game. And if you watch what Barcelona did, and if you read about it, and if you hear about what players were talking about, Messi, it was Liverpool, Barcelona was in the semifinal.
No.
This is in the quarterfinals. Messi came out after that game and basically said Vasquez approached it like, let's be pragmatic. Let's just sit back. Let's let them do their thing. We'll absorb them. We scored 5 minutes into the game. Next thing you know, Wijnaldum comes on the pitch in the second half. We score twice. All of a sudden, it's 3-3. They fall asleep. Boom.
And then that's the Trent free kick. Well, the corner.
Yes.
Okay.
But Barcelona, when you go back and you watch the documentaries on it, they all blame the mentality of the manager going into that game, basically saying that I don't think that we should attack them. I think that we should just hit them on the counter and we should just absorb. And that's what you cannot do. And this is the same exact situation. They won 3-0 at home. Now they're going away. The Bernabeu is not an easy place. I'd put it right up there with fucking Anfield. And we didn't have Bobby or Mo that game. We didn't have Bobby Firmino. We didn't have Mo Salah. Xherdan Shaqiri started, right? So, anything can happen, but I think a lot of it has to do with how Arsenal approach. They don't have to play the same way, but you can't go in there and pretend like it's over and like 3-0 is a comfortable
I don't think they're going to go in there and pretend like it's over, but they need to adjust to how Real Madrid is going to play, and Real Madrid are going to come at us with everything they got, and it's going to leave them open at the back. Like they have no choice. They have no choice. Yeah. So I think we score at the Bernabeu just because they're going to give us a counter. And you saw how dangerous we could be on the counter against Brentford. I mean, we from goalie to goal, it was less than 10 seconds. Like we can hit them. We can hit you and hit you hard if you're in too deep.
I was off a corner.
Pause.
Yeah.
To be fair,
either way.
I listen. I'm happy for Arsenal. I did call that they were gonna win.
Here we go.
Mean you're happy
here we
for
go.
Here
we go.
What the fuck you mean?
By the way, you guys can send Ahmed to jail. Super chats, remember, they're always appreciated. Thank you for supporting the channel.
I thought you were a Chelsea fan. What the hell are you talking about, bro?
Big up Jacob in the chat, by the way, too. Those defensive stats mentioned is with Gabriel, by the way.
But no, listen. The reason why is because there's better teams that can destroy them. I don't think Real Madrid were ever going to be that team. I've watched Real Madrid.
Sorry, Amen. Real quick, because we got United Spurs of America. You notice how United Spurs of America and the other United fans that are really bottom these days aren't able to really be a part of the American Waffle anymore. Like when they're at the bottom.
I know, man. You know what I mean? They're all right, man. Next season, if they start flying high, man, we're not gonna allow them in here, bro.
Yeah, we call those butters bottom bitches.
Yeah,
just wear every time.
Yeah, but I just wanted this. I think for me, the problem with Real Madrid, and I always said this,
big up Uncle Rats.
Big up to Ancelotti. Ancelotti is one of my favorite Chelsea manager we ever had. But Ancelotti works best with elite players in the sense that he allows them to have a good environment, if that makes sense, right? And he lets them do the job. But the thing about that is that, you need to have guys that are elite and are experienced and are willing to work together, right? The problem for me has always been when they brought in Mbappe is that you got two guys that like to play specifically on one side way too much, right? And that has really hurt the chemistry of the team.
Bro, their front three is three left wingers,
right? That's really legit. It's legit hurt the team.
Legit.
And there's not really that. And I think with Ancelotti, I think one thing that I'm not liking about his era around either is that he relies too much heavily on individual brilliance, bro. Right?
Yeah.
Last season was really a lot of Vinicius' individual brilliance that was helping them out in that season. This and Rodrigo and some others every now and then coming up with the goods, right? And for me, the best club that you can see this with, and I'll use the English example here, was United. United, a lot of the time they just had that thing where a moment of brilliance would just happen for them, even though they were trash. And you're seeing what happens when you're not able to produce that at Real Madrid this season in their key moments. But regardless of that, the reality is, man, when you play at the Bernabeu, they're always going to have a chance to do something. Now, I think with Arsenal, I get what Darcy is saying. I think if you're cautiously optimistic, or like you know what I mean? What I mean by that is you still make sure you keep in defensive shape, but you counter as much as you can whenever you need to do, right? That, I think, is basically the perfect game plan for Arsenal. You play when you can, but realistically, you're there to make sure, you can shut these guys out at minimum by one goal. Like, you can accept we may need to concede one, but at the end of the day, we make sure we just handle our business. We just play regular football, not too much. Make sure our mind is more focused on the defensive aspect, less so the attacking aspect.
Yeah, I want to hear from Marshall on this one.
I mean, I agree with everything that was said overall. I think in terms of the next part of this game, it's going to be a tough one. You know, don't be on your heels. Real Madrid have been known to make these mysterious comebacks when they're not in favor of doing this, but it's just their heritage, right? So don't sleep on your laurels. You gotta put it away. If you can just get one goal, I think you demoralize them, and they definitely put the sword down and probably give it up at that point. But one thing I wanted to bring into this conversation, not to drag it out, but can we stop these conversations about Declan Rice being world class? Like, I get it. Those free kicks were phenomenal, but let's be honest. Listen, Kai Havertz scored the winning goal for us to win the Champions League recently. And till this day, I don't really, there are still fans that praise him for it and all that, but just because he scored the goal for Champions League doesn't dismiss the fact that he was absent for seasons previous to that one and the ones afterwards. Like, let's be honest, this season for Declan Rice hasn't been that great. It's phenomenal that he turned up.
Completely disagree.
It's phenomenal. Disagree. I think he was better for you guys last season than he's been this season. It's great that he stepped up for this clutch moment, just like Kai Havertz stepped up in the clutch moment we needed him to. But it's about how much you can continue doing this, how consistently you can do this throughout the course of your career, and not just one night. Because at the end of the day, TJ, if you guys don't win this, you'll remember that moment, but it's not going to cover the cracks of the previous moments and the price tag that, in my opinion, he still hasn't.
I agree. Okay, hold on. So I agree with you.
Yeah, unlike you, Ahmed, I got to take some of the wind out of the Arsenal sails. They're still rivals at the end of the day.
Yeah, but we don't need to do that, bro. Like,
I'm doing it. I chose violence today.
He can do it all he wants. He's cranky. So I'm going to go ahead and respond. Look, Marshall, I think that you are right to a point. I don't think that he can be considered a world-class player, but that for that 5 minutes on the pitch when it mattered, when we needed a moment, because the Champions League is all about moments. When we needed a moment, Declan Rice stood.
Big up to him, by the way. I forgot to say those free kicks were world-class free kicks. I'm not gonna lie. It did took me back.
You will never see you have not seen a free kick like that in the Prem happen in 20 years. And you saw it happen within 5 minutes
Reece
of each
James
other.
Did it against Brentford.
Oh, whatever. Who gives a shit? I'm not talking about Reece James. Nobody cares. Reece James hype. No, all I'm saying, and then. But to your point though, I completely disagree with the notion that Declan Rice hasn't been one of our best midfielders. He's been miles better than Odegaard, and he's been playing out of position.
No, I think he's one of your best midfielders, but I don't think
Declan Rice is a 6, and we're playing him as a left-sided 8 and a line-breaking 8, and especially in the calendar year of 2025, he's been doing very, very well in that position. He's spinning people in the final third. Like if you're watching all of Arsenal's games, he's making the defense think. Like I said, and now I have egg on my face because I said Declan Rice is a stay-at-home 6. I think we need to keep him as a stay-at-home 6. But I am wrong. But I was wrong. I think he's been absolutely fantastic in that role.
I would think that Partey has been a better midfielder this season.
Yeah, but
than
they're
Declan
different
Rice.
Profiles, though. Like that's my whole problem with this argument.
I'm sure, but look at the price tags. And you were using him as an 8. You were using him as a 6.
You were never going to get. You were never going to dictate. You were never going to dictate.
But that's the biggest thing, right? Like it's the biggest indicator. Listen, no. Here's the thing. I love it when this happens. I love it because it's the argument that people have for Moises Caicedo and Enzo, right? It's but they're not worth 100 this, they're not worth that, and this and that. But when I try to bring it up for Declan Rice, no, Marshall goes by the price tag. It's all he cares about. No, I'm just using the same argument that rivals like to use for me to thee. That's all I'm doing. I'm being fair. I'm like Snow White out here, the fairest of them all.
You know what? The only thing I would have to say, and I can't believe I'm actually going to be, I got to be fair. The fact that Declan Rice is doing this in the UCL, Marshall, is where you got to pick your moments. I don't think this is the time to really point out that he's not quite worth the price tag because of all players to do it in a quarterfinals versus Real Madrid. I think he's kind of justifying why Arteta was right to go out and get him. I also think that is he world class?
That and he wanted to come to Arsenal, and he wanted to come to Arsenal.
I'm gonna have to agree with what Vader is saying.
Here we go.
That first leg against us, that just justified his price tag. I'm gonna be
agreed.
Like,
I agree.
Like, TJ, look, I'm gonna be real. Even if Arsenal get knocked out, wait.
Okay, go.
Marshall. Let's say even if Arsenal get knocked out by PSG in the next round, TJ is gonna be telling his grandkids and his great grandkids about that Declan Rice free kick.
Can I live that long?
Like they will never forget.
I don't think I will. I don't think I will.
TJ, I don't believe you. Against
he's not going to say that if they don't win the Champions League. He's not going to do that. No.
If they win the Champions League, right? If they don't,
Das is correct.
Bro, I'm telling you, even if they don't win the UCL, bro, when you ask like Arsenal fans, like, oh, like their Champions League moment, it's going to be that game.
Facts.
Like, especially because who it's against.
But like,
that wasn't PSV.
I have the perfect rebuttal to this. Hold on, Marshall. Before, that kick that Declan Rice had, right? What is the first video? The second one, not the first one's whatever, right? Okay. First one, amazing, but the second
one's better than the second one in my opinion.
No. In my opinion,
they're both good.
The second one was way better.
I don't want to argue the semantics. I just want to get to the point. The second one, what's the first video? What is the first video that people decided to tag with that? Lionel Messi's third goal against Liverpool in 2019. Probably a better free kick. It was from further out. It was in an even better position. But ultimately, they lost the next leg 4-0, and that gets forgotten about. And even when people bring it up, it's kind of just like a passing thought. It's like, great goal.
Though. That's Barcelona.
People,
though.
Okay,
like,
but you made the argument that
I get
that he would tell his kids about it. I'm like, maybe the people who were at that Messi game would tell their kids about it, but the fans will be like, it's really hard for me to think about that because then I have to think about the fact that we just blew that fucking lead 3-0 away from home.
But then, at the same time, though, you're talking about two clubs with two different standards. Like, this is Barcelona that you're talking about. Like, for Barcelona,
damn.
No, like,
not wrong.
Like,
he's not wrong.
Depends on the fan. That depends on the fan. Look, and the reason, and I'm gonna kill this dead right now. Like, the reason I'm not gonna tell my kids about it is because, if we go out, then what's the point? I'm gonna say, oh my God, we got eliminated by PSG. From one of the worst French leagues I've seen in a long time. We get eliminated.
You lose to Real Madrid. Fuck PSG. Imagine you lose to Real Madrid.
Well, either way, if we don't win the trophy, it doesn't matter.
You're a fraud, TJ.
All we're going to say is, hey,
Respect
remember that?
The French league.
And then Arsenal are going to replay it back in 10 years, being like, hey, remember this?
Wait, so
on Twitter and all this bullshit.
By the way, so TJ,
you guys are jokers.
It's going to be nothing but PR.
Wait, so I
do believe that.
TJ. Like,
it's true. I believe it
how
too.
Long have you been watching?
No, hold on. Sorry, Will. One sec. You guys are acting. This is American Waffle, so let's be balanced, right? We consume other sports.
That's hilarious.
Yes.
Right? We consume other sports. We remember amazing moments like Vince Carter dunking over Alonzo Mourning. Did it result in him winning the NBA title? No, but we remember moments like this.
Kobe dropping 100. You remember Kobe dropping 100?
I've got a big example. Remember when Damian Lillard hit that game?
Oh, the buzzer beater, like over
the buzzer beater. Everybody was called a Paul George. No. It was OKC because it was Paul George and
over Paul George.
No one's saying you're not gonna remember them. No one's saying that. They're gonna be
no, but you're still gonna tell. You're gonna tell your kids about big moments like that. TJ's trying to act like,
for sure, man.
He's never. If we don't win anything, I'm not gonna.
It is a big moment, but it's not like I'm gonna tell my children about.
Let's ask. Hold on, before you go, let's ask Jacob. Hey, Jacob, you remember that win against Ajax, right? That comeback win against Ajax. Are you gonna tell your kids about that, even though you?
Of course, he's a Tottenham fan.
Jacob's gonna tell his kids about the day that Luka left.
But hold on.
No, that's what I mean. That's what I mean, though.
It's not the same, TJ. The comeback versus Ajax is not the same as what you did to Real Madrid.
Hold on, wait. But TJ, Jacob can probably tell you exactly what he was doing that day of the game. Now, hold on. TJ, the question that I wanted to ask you was, how long have you been watching Arsenal?
Intently watching, 10 years.
So that's the best moment that you've seen in the UCL then, right?
Yeah. It probably is.
The only moment. It's the only moment that he's seen in the UCL.
No, that's the highlight.
That is insane. Oh my God.
That's a rare Jacob W right there. That's a rare Jacob W. That's hilarious.
Tell me it's about Luka Doncic, Jacob. That's what I want to know. That's what.
By the way, to go back to Vader's point, right? Even as so I've seen Like 5 UCL lists. It's so many that I'm kind of forgetting a little bit.
Oh, here we go.
Man.
I know. I'll tell my kids about in the COVID year, when Aubameyang put the fucking team on his back and we beat Chelsea in the FA Cup.
Now wait, but hold on. To go off of Vader's point though,
fuck you.
The best UCL moment. Taylor. Hold on, wait. The best UCL moment of my life wasn't even us winning one of those finals. It was Rodrigo coming off the bench, bro. I've never experienced some shit like that in my life. I'm still chasing that kind of high.
Here's
I'm
the
hoping
thing,
to get that on Wednesday.
Okay. I see what Vader is saying, and I've kind of come to the middle. Like, what it is like, you're going to remember those moments, right? Like, I even remember the bad moments. I remember Modric, long distance pass, when we were making that comeback, long distance pass in the final minutes of the game to Rodrigo, and all of a sudden, we're not in the UCL tie. We're going to extra time, and then Benzema puts it away. Knocks us out. Like, fuck you, bro. Stop laughing. Like, I remember those moments, bro. Right? Like, but like, when you go and you talk about history and you talk about legacy and all this stuff, that's at the bottom of the pile. You're going to remember the bigger moments. Like, you're going to remember when you won the UCL. You're going to remember when Aguero was scored the game winner. You're going to remember those moments. Hold on, Vader. Like, sure, TJ's going to remember this moment. That's fine. But at the end of the day, I remember Fernando Torres scoring against Barcelona because that led to a run where we went up against Bayern, and then we won it last minute. We went to penalties and all that, and we won our UCL. It's like the story.
Guys. No, I see
getting to that point.
Marshall, stop, because Will was doing this. You guys keep using the fact that you've won it, and you're crapping on TJ. I'm just trying to point out he hasn't.
I don't feel like I'm being crapped on.
Well, they're doing it subliminally. They're doing some Drake subliminal.
I feel like I'm being gaslit right now. I really like. This is one of the shows where I feel the least threatened, to be honest.
All right. Well, they keep saying that your moment is great, but you're not going to remember.
Like Arsenal. Omar actually.
Ahmed believed too, apparently.
Yo, bro. Like,
what did I believe?
Omar said 3-0.
Arsenal were going to win,
bro.
He called 3-0.
Yeah,
Omar
so respect me.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But then again, but Omar has been on the side of so many fucking Real Madrid whoopings this season. I can't believe I actually believe it. Like,
no, wait.
I don't.
Not this season. Not this season.
No,
I don't want to watch. Oh, you mean the 4-0 at home when you guys lost?
No, bro.
Barcelona?
We've been
4-0.
Real Madrid
not Omar. Like Omar has.
Oh no. That's what I meant. Sorry if I said that incorrectly. Yeah, no, you've been on the side of so many fucking whoopings. It's hilarious, bro. No, I know, dude. Do you walk with a limp after it? Did you walk with a limp after that fucking beating at home? That was ridiculous.
You walked like Saka after it.
Yeah. Hey. Now that's the respect my.
I was looking like Saka out there, Vader. To be fair,
yeah. He did play a phenomenal game, by the way. Saka did.
Dude, Saka's fantastic, and I have to take back everything that I said.
He's definitely world class now, in my opinion. There's no way now.
You think he's world class?
Wait a minute.
He's shown consistency,
but Declan Rice,
not because of a moment,
Declan
because of consistency. Consistency.
Okay.
And at the biggest stage, at the biggest stage in the press conference when he's being asked, and this is a hard moment right here. Pause. In the press conference when he's being asked, like, how do you feel about playing in the biggest world stage with the likes of Mbappe and Vinny? And he just answers essentially like, well, I'm one of those people on that biggest stage. He's not. It doesn't intimidate him. No, but he is, though. He is. He's up there as one of the best in the world. Come on now.
He can't chat to Vinny. Until he scores in 2 UCL finals, he's not talking to Vinicius. Respectfully.
I get that, but he is respected up there.
Can I say something real quick? Because I love when moments happen for like the Liverpools and like the Uniteds and the Arsenals, because they're so loud about it. When it happens over at Manchester City, we don't quite have
victim.
We don't quite have the same fan base for it to get out there. But did you guys know?
Because you don't have a fan base. But keep going.
Because you buy them.
I have no problem saying we have a small fan base.
Oh my days.
And the fact that we buy
things need to age with, like, you need to let these things age like fine wine. Then they start cooking.
Expensive wine.
But the thing that I want to point out, and I think it's amazing to just sit back and observe. You know what? There was an education that happened for all of the immature content creators or those that look at football that happened in the Arsenal versus Real Madrid game, because you have all the clowns that always want to talk about GA, right? GA. What did this player do? What did they do? But Did Saka register a GA? No. But
No.
did everyone observe the impact or the influence he had on that game? Yes. So when you guys you're going to get lazy again. You're going to get lazy again and want to ask one of the rivals, most likely me, oh, what did your player do? Where was their GA? I'm going to point out you can have an impact, you can have an influence in the game without registering a GA, like we saw Saka do, and everybody was praising his performance. So just let's all remember that.
Is this you defending Phil Foden? Is this you defending Phil Foden right now?
No. Any player that actually contributes to the win, and it's not GA.
Well, no, I mean I agree with you, but I think calling Saka world class based off of how he performed against Real Madrid, like he's had a lot better games, but he cooked, but he's also had a lot better games. So if you're using this as an example for why he's world class, you should have been watching him earlier.
I'm not ready to say he's world class.
Level of opponent that it's against and in the competition.
This is his biggest game. I'm not saying he's world class after one
game.
Dude,
we play Liverpool and Man City twice every year at least, and he cooks them. And they're objectively better than Real Madrid.
Wait, so before what?
Wow.
Liverpool is better than Real Madrid
this season. Yes. Okay,
yes.
So
Man City in general.
One though, TJ, just really quickly.
Go ahead.
I just want to, if the remontada does happen, let's go into a dream reality.
Here we go.
What happens then if we end up, let's say, making it 3-0 on aggregate? We go to extra time. We win on pens. Just talk to me about how that plays out now in the Arsenal fan base, because I can tell you what's going to happen after we get knocked out on Wednesday. But I just want to know, like, what would happen if you guys capitulate? And
so just to let you know, I put $10 on Real Madrid going through because the odds are so high. So I would win money. So I would win money. So I would
against your club.
I would drive like, hey, bro, bet with your
head.
He's
an Arsenal fan from fucking Kansas City. He has no morals.
Bet with your head. Bet with your head, not your heart. But here's what happens.
Don't bet at all.
You will see.
You will see
when the fun stops. Stop.
You will see. Yeah, no, exactly. Gamble responsibly, people.
Hashtag Bet365.
Okay. Yeah.
This guy.
Hashtag MGM bets. Hashtag ESPN. No. You will see. Here's the thing. Will you will see a revolt in the fan base like you have never seen before. Everybody that was Arteta in will be Arteta out. And I will laugh the entire time.
It's a win-win situation for you.
And if they do not sack him, if they do not sack him in the tunnel, if he drops this, then we're not serious. And we never were serious. And we're gonna turn TJ Warren TV into a hockey fucking podcast.
No. Hold on. Let me speak to you.
Podcast, so that we can actually have like a good chat once.
Oh, you mother! I knew you were gonna fucking say that. Oh my god!
For a tight 90, we're spending a lot of time on Arsenal.
Yeah, I know. We are talking about it. So maybe
I mean, they are in the UCL. Okay. I just want to say this real quick.
Final thoughts before we get to this. Hold on.
Don't forget, chat. Maresca out, man. There we go.
Oh
yeah, before we get to Maresca out. Yeah, and
this guy stinks.
Ahmed was just giving me shit about having real chats, and this is the guy who's saying Maresca out. Okay, cool. All right, final thoughts. Vader,
final thoughts. I just want to say, because TJ, I know if you guys happen to lose this, it's going to be crash out on Arteta.
It'll be nuts.
But hold on, Will's seen this for the 10 years in particular that he's kind of looked at, and obviously he's done his homework, he's done his history, so he knows beyond that. Real Madrid can sometimes get like a favorable call here, a potential early yellow.
Oh, I've been asked this
here,
question already.
A red card. What if it happens to just be a madness, right? Like the dark arts, black magic, whatever. It happens to be something unimaginable. You're down a man, and you happen to crash out that way. Are you still going to be Arteta out when you know Real Madrid can execute some dark arts?
Game is the game if I'm in it.
Yes. Stop starting Lewis Skelly.
Wow.
Firstly, if you use the English
accent don't do that ever again.
Don't do that ever again, bro. Respectfully. That is actually disgusting.
That was hilarious, actually.
See, it was an American to say that, man. It's always going to be.
You guys make fun of our accent all the time. You can hold that.
Do you think you make an American accent? Then please, in my presence, let's not make that happen.
Yeah, but all your fellow fucking miserable countrymen do. You know how many times people elongate their fucking R's and make fun of me?
listen, I'm from Somalia, mate. Please.
Okay, yeah. You're Somalian when it suits you, my friend. That's all I'm gonna say. No mention
Whoa,
no mention of Partey's injury. He got a knock. He'll play. It's a non-story.
I don't think
it's
Spain.
Let's move on.
Okay.
Let's move on. Chelsea draw to Ipswich. Ipswich looked like the better team. I watched that through halfway through the second. They looked like the better team. Are you Maresca out?
Are you waffling? Ipswich looked like the better team. Are you serious?
I'm fucking with you. I'm fucking with you.
Oh, okay. That's why, I see through you sometimes.
I just think it's so funny that you when you get mad, you start squinting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just.
But are you Maresca out now that with Ahmed? Or are you blaming the players? Who is Chelsea blaming now? That's going to be my next question.
Chelsea's blaming Chelsea, to be honest. I think I'm not Maresca out, but if we do lose the Conference League, then yeah, I will be. And we go again on another vicious cycle of, well, you gotta keep taking shots until you make one at least with these owners. And it's very frustrating. I'm really annoyed by it. I do like the manager, don't get me wrong, but when you look at the recruitment and the squad building, you see there's a lot of holes and deficiencies, and it's you hire on that one. You hire a delivery boy to deliver pizzas for you. Sexist. Delivery person, delivery boy, delivery person. You will say that. To deliver pies for you, but you don't give them a car and you're expecting fast under 30-minute delivery time. You give them a bike. And that's what Maresca feels like. And you know what, Vader, to your sentiment, it's probably what Pochettino had to deal with last season. But the reason with Pochettino, what the thing with Pochettino, what he doesn't get away with is the fact that he didn't have tactics. He set us up to fail multiple times, whereas Maresca this season set us up to succeed in a lot of instances, and unfortunately, it just didn't play out. And Pacha had that too. Don't get me wrong. The semifinal against you, he set up the team to succeed, and players failed him. And I look back at the directors, and there's no striker. Against Ipswich, we had 20 plus shots. I believe. I think 8 of them were on target. We don't have the clinical attacker that can put these goals away. Jadon Sancho on game week 32 finally decides to shoot, and he scores a worldly goal. Yeah. I can't believe it. Imagine you get in a good position to shoot, and you don't pass it back, and you don't try to dribble another player or dribble the player you just dribbled. Mm-hmm. Cole Palmer is a shadow of his former self, and I'm really frustrated with his performances. I don't think he necessarily had a horrible game 2 days ago or yesterday, I think it was. But regardless, it wasn't a good game. Nicholas Jackson had hit the post, and that's it. Our defense still sucks. Our defense is still horrible. Robert Sanchez in the first pass of the game gave it away. It's like so many issues in this team, and it's absolutely infuriating. And, given that we did have chances, we did have opportunities to score, and our defense just decided to spread their legs wide open just to let any person that happened to be running through the gap just score. You can't really do much else. It sucks. Our best defender right now is a kid who's 21 years old, Levi Kowo, and he stinks.
He stinks, dude.
Our best center back.
Yeah, bro.
Cucurella is like midfield 10. He's everything. Even he didn't have a great game. So it's infuriating too against an Ipswich, right? This is where I'm expecting to pick up 3 points. I'm expecting to at least give us a little bit more of a cushion in that, top 5 UCL race. And now after seeing what happened, after seeing the team decide to step up when it was too late and then they didn't succeed, it's just
that's not camera.
It's just one of those things that I'm just so frustrated. He's taking his own
passport photo.
He's taking a screenshot.
Obviously, I'm not trying to put my analysis on this based on what the fans are saying, but the fans are louder than ever right now. And a lot of them are waffling. A lot of them are just moaning and bitching and crying about the stupidest shit. Like Maresca came out in comments and said that the environment didn't help us in the sense of, you know, the fans booing us during the game, the fans and all this. And people are already blowing it out of proportion. He's like, oh, he's blaming the fans. Oh, he's doing this. No, he's fucking not. He's just being honest. Our fans do suck. You're right. Our fans do suck. Listen, I understand. Don't get me wrong.
Racismo.
At the halftime point, when we were losing 2-0, I understood why the fans are booing. Not before that. And at the same time, it's like, I don't even care that they were booing. I care that fans literally coming out of that press conference saying, oh, he's blaming the fans. No, he's just fucking stating that it doesn't fucking help when the fans are just booing us for doing what I'm telling them to do, which is pass around the back, keep possession, find opportunities. You're booing that? Like, at some point, like, you gotta have some type of rationale. Understand that not just because he's saying that doesn't mean this. He's just stating other factors that aren't helping the situation, but you want to run away with this narrative because you don't like fucking Maresca because he's inexperienced manager. Yet this inexperienced manager had me in 4th place for most of this fucking season, unlike a manager who was at PSG, won a title, had Messi, had all this, went to a UCL final. What the fuck did he do? Had me in 6th place for most of the season. Or no, not even 10th and 9th. Then got me 6th place when he decided, let me invert Cucurella at the end of the season. No, it's not double standards. One has experience. I expect a lot more than the one who doesn't have experience, where I don't even expect to be in a fucking title race in December.
You're in the job. You're expected to improve your club. No, he took him from 6th to 6th.
If I took you, right now, TJ, who is a singer, right? You sing at weddings. If I told you, hey, go sing at Madison Square Garden, sold out show. Am I expecting you to be as good as someone like Billy Joel or The Weeknd, someone who is extraordinary? Because if I am, then I'm deluded for thinking that. And that's the same concept with thinking that Maresca is going to come into this Chelsea team. This is the grand Chelsea, historical Chelsea, heritage, all this bullshit. London is blue, fucking fuck all right? If I'm expecting him to come into this team and work wonders and win me a UCL when I'm not even in UCL, then what the hell am I thinking? I'm thinking delusional. I'm trying to be realistic, right? And to me, he's overachieved. I didn't expect him to be at this point at the end of the season. Am I disappointed that we're not in top 4? Am I disappointed that it looks like we're not making it to UCL? I fucking really am. I am extremely disappointed. But at the same time, that's why I'm saying if we don't win Conference League, which we've been walking through Conference League this whole entire time, I'm probably going to be Maresca out. I'm probably going to be directors. I probably want a lot of these players out. And honestly, I am already fed up with these ownerships. These ownerships. Yeah, there's multiple people.
These ownerships. There's multiple ownerships.
Why are you discounting top 5? You're only
I like Conway Twitty, to be real.
Here's the thing. And I get where you're coming from. It's mathematically not impossible. And I understand that. But the reality is we just lost to Ipswich. And I know football doesn't work that way. Football happens. We just had Arsenal draw to Brentford, right? And then you drew to Everton. Drop points again. And I know there's context to it. You're most focused on the UCL. At the end of the day, though, I'm looking at Fulham, and maybe we can win. Maybe. Even if I give you that we beat Fulham and Everton, am I expecting to win against United? Historically, we don't have the best record. We don't have a victorious record, so I don't really expect to win. Maybe a draw. Am I expecting to beat Newcastle, who are on fire right now? No. At best, I'm expecting a draw. Nottingham Forest, probably another draw. I think we're going to lose to you, Das. So I don't know where the points are coming from when I'm looking at Aston Villa, when I'm looking at Newcastle, when I'm looking at who else is in this race. Nottingham Forest are in it with us, and they have City. They have somewhat easier fixtures. They can get wins. I think they're going to accumulate more points than us. So we were in the driver's seat. Now we're not. It's going to take luck, and I don't like to rely on luck for these things. I did rely on hope for a bit. I did expect our team to perform or start to get back to that form that we were on earlier. We were unlucky against Ipswich. I'm not going to lie to you.
Smacked is not the right.
I don't know about smacked either. We were unlucky against Ipswich. There were chances. At the end of the day, what is his name? Chris Palmer, I think, is their goalkeeper. He had world-class. But at the end of the day, I don't know.
Today. Sal's been quiet today.
Yeah, Sal's been quiet today, but now Marshall goes away. You know, here's the problem.
Quality super chat right there.
Yeah, that is a quality super chat. Big up Bina. He says just joined. We'll watch replay. Marshall saw. Hey, yeah. The problem is though, is you put the wrong Chelsea fan in prison. So now we have to listen to Ahmed waffle about whatever he's going to say. I guess we'll hand the baton over to you. Are you still Maresca out, Ahmed, or are you blaming the players?
Firstly, again, you know why I did that video. It was a little bit of fun. So you gotta just push past that one. No, because I just think for me, when it just comes to the whole Chelsea situation, I just think with Maresca, he's a known quantity. You know what I mean? He's you know he's going to be inexperienced. You know he's going to make mistakes. If you just look at his history at Leicester, a lot of the stuff that's happening is very similar in the sense of like the mistakes he's making. Those are known stuff. So when you bring in a manager as inexperienced as him, you have to provide that type of manager. Yeah, one of two things: either you're giving him the time to make those mistakes and allow him to give him an environment to make those mistakes, right? Which right now in our club, I don't think that's allowed necessarily, right? Because of the fact that we are so desperate for UCL football this season, right? Or you do plan B. Plan B actually is providing him with some level of experience and quality players. But I'll probably say less low experience, but more so quality players that can do a job on that team on a week in, week out basis. And that is where we basically failed the manager, in my personal opinion. Now we can say he's not good enough for that, which is already true. But we brought him. The people that brought him in knew that, and they failed him by bringing him guys that are subpar. Whether we like to admit or not, Jackson is not ready. Whether we like to admit or not, Pedro Neto, who we bought 50 million, has not been good enough for us this season. Sancho has not been good enough for us this season, right? Cole Palmer this season, sometimes it's very natural for what's happened to him, but he has not provided for us, particularly in that second half of the season.
Can he play music from jail? Have we ruled on that?
I don't object.
Okay, that's fine.
As long as he doesn't talk.
But like,
he doesn't speak.
Yeah. All right. But like, but you get my point, right? A lot of these guys you brought in are just not good enough. It's just as simple as that.
Yeah, but
and, yes. And just for me,
finish.
And then obviously, just speaking of the game in particular, Ipswich, I think the first half, we create chances, but then all it takes for us to have one bad moment, two bad moments, right, and then we just cascade. And I think the big problem at Chelsea is a mentality problem, right? It's more than anything else. It's a genuine mentality problem where these players, bro, they just do not show up for it, bro. They don't have the right attitude. When they come to these games, bro, it's just not good enough. That's what this comes down to for me. The mentality is just not there. And it happened last season. It's happened again this season, right? And if that is the case...
Yeah, but you blamed Poch last season.
I didn't blame Poch last season. I actually gave Poch a little bit of grace. I was a bit more nuanced.
Oh, sorry. That was... Oh, okay. All right. That's fine.
I always give Poch... I give Poch a little bit nuanced because I was like, we brought the wrong manager for the wrong players. That's why I always said. That from a management perspective,
I am not a clown.
I always thought Poch did a good job in my personal opinion. So I'm not going to be here to cook Poch on the management basis.
I am not a clown.
But the reality, I think the other reality that we've got as well is this: the fans not being happy at the stadium. The fans pay the money, bro. I'm sorry to tell you guys, it's their right to feel however they want to feel. And if they were booing the players, they deserve to boo those players, bro, for the performances that they were giving up. The fact they were 2-0 down and doing the stuff they were doing, it's only fair. Listen, I'm never going to criticize anyone that pays 60 British pounds sterling to go watch a Chelsea side.
Pretty cheap, too.
That's it?
Well, in the UK, it's not cheap. Well, guess what? It's not cheap.
They have controlled pricing. They have a much different pricing ecosystem in
the cost of living crisis, bro. It's a cost of living crisis. But
£60 is that's a lot.
It's a lot, bro.
That's like $75.
Yeah. So, yo, $75 to go to a game with good seats is amazing,
bro. Yeah, for fucking $75, I could buy 2 hot dogs at the Knick game outside of Madison Square Garden. That's
maybe a beer, maybe a beer,
different environments, man. Different environments.
Bro, I paid $20. I paid $20 for a Miller Lite at the United Arsenal game.
When it comes to the Ipswich game in isolation, I understand what you're saying. But when the second any Chelsea fan starts talking about the entire season is when I have to just shut my ears. Because everyone is ignoring the reality of the situation. Everyone is living in blissful ignorance. Everyone is stuck in the past thinking that they need to hold the standards of the club to what they were.
Oh, no, I agree with you on that.
Let's just be objective. You guys are at 54 points. The team in 5th place, 55. The team in 4th place, 56. The team in 3rd place, 57. You are 3 points off of 3rd place, right? Yet you have people who every single week chat shit about the club and where they're at and X and Y and Z because they are still stuck in the reality of believing that they're even capable of competing.
You know what that is though, Das? You know what that is though, Das? So I'm gonna come at this here a little bit.
This is exactly where you should be. Like, no, you shouldn't be losing 2-0 to Ipswich.
Yes,
but you should be on 54 points.
Somewhere around. My thing for me is that I think there's a big problem at Chelsea right now in terms of what is being expected right now, and then what is the reality of the situation. Because I actually spoke about this with Marsh yesterday on his stream, funnily enough. Right, the problem is right now for so many people they continue to keep.
I'm sorry, Marshall, you're supposed to be out.
They continue to keep the standard right of like top 4. Right, it's minimum top 4 expected. We should be competing for titles and everything like that. But the reality of right now, and this is pure and simple for when it comes to Chelsea, is that the way we spend, the way we do transfer and stuff like that, that is not the current formulation that we're reaching. Right, that's not the way we're doing stuff anymore. And so there's always going to be this dissonance between what is happening on the pitch and then what people's true expectations are. And until, one moves to the other way or the other moves to the other, that there's always going to be this conversation that's always going to happen to us. So I don't know. I don't know how else to tell you that, bro.
But okay, listen, at the end of the day, you need to forget the past and understand where you are now.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, but at the end of the day, it's very hard. We can rationalize it. However, I'm not saying that it's easy, right? But all you're doing right now is rationalizing it. That's it. Like the simple fact is that not you, but a large percentage of Chelsea fans think that they're the big bad, Blues of London. You're not. You're fucking. You're dog shit. You are pipsqueaks compared to what you were. You are exactly where you should be. You should not be asking Maresca to leave, right? You shouldn't be doing that. What you should be saying? What you should be saying is, despite how fucking shit we are, I'm 2 points off of Newcastle and securing myself in 4th place. Okay, now what happens if I start to just do a little bit more to back the manager? Like you said, buy some better quality players. Okay, maybe next season. Next season we can slightly move that. You're not going to fucking start challenging for the league in 12 months. It's not going to fucking happen.
Everything you're saying, I get, but I'm going to play devil's advocate and then I'm going to give you something else, yeah? So let me give you something else first. The problem is, let's say I want to back the manager next season. But if I'm backing the manager with Liam Delap, Bino Gittins, and not Mark Gay, but let's Dean Hoyson, for example, right? What is that? What is that getting me to next season? The only thing that's going to get me to is another 2 seasons of probably preparing myself of development for those guys.
Players. But what are the other options? What are you going to go out and buy Ruben Diaz? Be like, hey, City, I know you guys are back. Ruben, come on, let's go.
So for me, defensively, I'd probably say getting in a Mark Gay isn't too bad of an option. Jan Bisek wouldn't be too bad of an option defensively. From a striker perspective, if you're willing to pay the wages to get this guy, Osimhen is still on the table for you, even though I may not be a big fan of his, right? Which is another one that we can look at. From the wing, available. So I think that's what they would say to you. There's quality players in the market that can still be bought in those positions, right? But I think the second option, the second part, which you're talking about the pipsqueak stuff and stuff like that, I think it's very hard, particularly when you've been, even though towards the end we weren't good, but when you've had such an amazing period of your footballing career where you've been winning pretty much almost if you're not winning the first year, you're always winning the second year in general. It's very hard for people to move on from that. You know what I mean?
Saying that
hold on before you.
My choice is Ahmed.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Are you even think about it?
You basically, Ahmed, just rationalized to me why your fan base are a bunch of spoiled pussies.
I know what they're spoiled pussies do.
Hey, respect the cell. Respect the cell.
Who have no background.
I let you finish. I could have sold you earlier.
You can sit there and you can say, well, we've been used to this. Okay, but when the going gets tough, you either fucking sink in. You either sink in and accept the reality of the situation, or you continue to be an ignorant fucking dickhead. And guess what? Being ignorant is what led you to hiring Pochettino. Being ignorant is what led you to spending $1 billion on a fucking youth project. Being ignorant is what got you here today. Now, obviously, there was some global conflicts that forced your prior manager to leave, but that's circumstances.
No reason to get, in my opinion, they had no reason to get rid of Tuchel. But keep going. Sorry.
Exactly.
But this is the thing, right? Like I agree with what Das is saying 100%. It's just I'm the type of person that, like, when it gets tough and I have the circumstances that I have, I got to make do with what I have. Like, as a fan, I also take that same mentality. Listen, I'm not happy Roman left. I'm not happy with the way things are going. But I know the reality situation. I know who can go, who can get replaced, the tangibles that can be fixed. And I discuss those things on my channel. I discuss those things as a fan. It's just like, let's be realistic about the situation. Let's call out the actual mistakes rather than just sitting here literally sitting on our hands and just bitching and moaning about the ownership. They're doing this, this and that. And to the point that Das was saying earlier, and that Amos said, I understand there's history to the club, but the same thing that Das said, basing yourself on the reality of things, these guys basically came into a home. This home was built under Roman. I'm stripping everything that even symbolizes or materializes him, and I'm rebuilding it with my material. They sacked the man.
I have a great analogy.
Go for it.
Let us be the judge of that, Mike, but go ahead.
It's this simple, right? Chelsea the year is 2007. Chelsea fans, they're in a super wealthy family. They go to Carbone every other night. They're used to $150 steaks. Like, they're living fucking lavish. They're getting caviar. Life is fucking good, right? 2008 hits, financial crisis. Daddy's broke. I can't go to Carbone. I can't get fucking caviar. I gotta sell the fucking McDicks on a Friday. Are you kidding me? I gotta eat a fucking Big Mac instead of $150 steak.
It's not even like that.
But hold on. So now they get stuck in being so upset that they can't eat the caviar anymore, that they never work to get back to being able to afford the fucking caviar. And the people who accept the fact that they can only afford McDonald's are the ones who get back to caviar. And then you get stuck being a bitter, old, 55-year-old man who's stuck eating McDonald's for 30 fucking years. It's that simple.
I don't think they lived that long.
Did you like that metaphor, Vader? Did you like the metaphor?
I don't think it was a great metaphor.
As much as he
okay. The better metaphor,
It's
though.
a great metaphor. It's a great metaphor. Great analogy.
The better analogy is you go from eating caviar to now eating fine steak, and you're bitching and moaning about the fine steak. It's the thing is, like, this is a project, right? And it's not like we're in Tottenham. It could be worse. It could be United situation where they had a billionaire take over, and now look at where the fuck they are.
You're 1 point off fifth, bro. You could be in 12th.
That's the thing. And that's where, like, I get pissed off at fans. I understand. I understand there's like a standard to Chelsea and stuff. I also get that standard was ripped apart because they literally fired the guy who did the youth development. They fired the medical team. They fired staff within the stadium. They fired the guy who cut the grass. Like, they literally got rid of so many things that were under the previous ownership. There's maybe 1 or 2 people that were under the previous ownership. That's it. This is all their project and all the way they want to do things. If it doesn't lead to success, I'll bitch about it. Obviously, I'm a fan. I want success. But I also need to understand the situation we're in, and it could be so much fucking worse. It could be so much worse. I have fans out here pretending like we're getting relegated. It's like, what are we doing? I understand. I'm upset. But the reality situation is, I don't think sacking the manager is going to help. I think sacking the directors might help, give them someone who can build a better team and better money, more importantly, in better places. Maybe don't overpay for the Moises Caicedos of the world and the Enzos of the world. Maybe invest in.
Whoa. You think you overpaid for those two?
Yes. I think if we had a Michael Edwards or
on the average, I think you overpaid for Enzo, but keep going.
No, I listen, right now they're paying their worth, but at the end of the day, most other clubs don't pay that much money for those players. Yeah. At the point where they are in their careers. Okay. You pay that much for someone who's won the UCL, who's done it for the team, the Modric's of the world, the Mbappe's of the world.
Argentina win a World Cup, Marshall.
He did, but that was maybe his 3rd professional season, 4th professional season. He's still really young and experienced.
Is just as talented as Pedri. You heard it here first. I don't care what anybody tells me. I don't care what anybody says.
That's a whole nother debate. But my point is, like, I don't think sacking the manager helps any situation. You got to go deeper. You got to get rid of the sporting directors. Actually give him players that he needs to succeed in the system. Give him proper depth. Don't give him a Lavia that's injury prone or a Wesley Fofana that's not available for most of the season. Like, you got to give him players that are going to help him succeed and fulfill whatever he's trying to do. And if it doesn't work even then he doesn't have excuses. Then you get rid of him. But if he does lose the Conference League, which I think he has enough quality to get it done, that's something that, okay, you needed to win this just by
it's simple.
default.
What was your expectation? Where did you think that you were going to finish the season?
Listen, this is probably a lot of hopium. I wanted to finish in 4th. I thought the team was capable enough to finish in 4th. I did believe in the manager.
Hold on. Ahmed, where did you? I mean, I'm happy to go back into your VODs if you lie.
6.
But where? Okay,
I said 6.
Right?
I said
Okay.
6.
And that's why I'm more realistic.
So hold on.
I'm accepting
You
that.
said 6th, and he said top 4. You are in 6th with 6 games to go, 2 points off of the 4th place, and this is a 5th place year. So technically speaking, you're right exactly where both of you expected you guys to be. Yet the narrative would seem like you guys thought that this was going to be a Centurion season, that you were going to have a treble, and now this is where you are. Like, that's kind of what the energy is. You think that your 17 Man City plus the treble, but in reality, in the back of the head, you always knew that, I'm probably going to finish 5th, probably going to finish 6th. And now you're just pissed off that that's the reality, even though that's what you expect.
I'm not pissed off.
I'm pissed off at the fans.
No, the
fans are pissed off. Yeah,
the fans are pissed.
Yeah.
Generalizing.
For me, because for me, I think listen, I recognize where we are and I recognize what we're gonna get. So therefore, I'm just here to see what's just gonna happen. Really, I'm here for the ride. As I said before. That's why Bay used to laugh at me when they used to say, one game at a time. That's where I'm at, bro. With Chelsea, just one game at a time. See what happens. And
Vader, I need to know your thoughts on Chelsea before we move on.
You know what? I think they're being battle tested right now. That's what it is, right? Because a lot of
Chelsea, they're being battle tested.
Well, they're being battle tested for this entire season because there was the hashtag Poch out, right? that was on every Chelsea fan's lips. And now what they expected this season to be is not happening, and it's going to take them to the 38th week, in my opinion, and my belief, for when they're going to get the result that they want. And I think it's going to be that nasty. They didn't expect this. When Marshall and all these guys were kind of like downplaying, challenging the league, like the cool guys, they still felt like it was going to be a comfortable top 4. Not this final week. So that's why they're a little antsy. That's why Chelsea fans are booing. But yeah, I mean, hey, put your seatbelt on. The ride's not over. Week 38. That's when it's all decided. And you also got UEFA Conference League to win as well. So that's a mad one.
Yeah, if you don't win that competition, I think Maresca needs to go, to be honest. I'm dead serious. That just shows that you don't know how to manage and you don't know how to win football games with $1 billion squad. And yes, do I think he paid way too much for that squad? Absolutely. But they're just you have way too much quality in that squad, even on your bench, to lose that. Like, what it's like Rapid Vienna, Real Betis, and Fiorentina left. Like, you guys should beat them.
Can I do what Mike does? Let me boost the irony here. There's a major irony with regards to what's happening over at Chelsea and Arsenal, because TJ is saying if his manager doesn't win the UCL, he wants him gone. Marshall saying if his manager doesn't win the UEFA Conference League, he wants him gone. The difference in standards between the two London clubs. Wow.
Enough about these billion-pound bottle jobs.
You better hope you keep.
Yeah, I know. Let's talk. Mike, talk to us. Where are you gonna get your honor guard?
My guard of honor. What's 3 games from now? Is that Tottenham?
This guy's acting like he doesn't know the picture.
I hope it's Tottenham.
This guy's already checked out. See how boring the remainder of this league is? He doesn't even know.
Sorry.
There was a time when Mike knew everyone's fixture list, not just his. Whoa, what's
listen,
Vader? He's checked out. This guy's checked out.
Vader, you want to know? You don't even want to know how checked out I am. But listen, I'm assuming that it's, no matter what, it's happening before May 11th. I don't really care where it happens, as long as I get to see Mikel Arteta and the rest of these bums sit there and clap my team onto the pitch. I need to see that happen. I don't care about Chelsea away. I don't care about Tottenham at home. I just want to see Mikel Arteta clap us on after he gets knocked out of the semifinals of the Champions League by PSG. Because I said all along, I said earlier this season that the best thing that could happen for me is Arsenal go deep into the Champions League and they lose it deeper to cause more pain to Arsenal fans because of all of the shit that I have to listen to. And that's not directed at TJ. That's pretty much directed at like every other Arsenal fan in existence. Because I don't really mind TJ, and I know him on a personal level. It's just the rest of the fan base that just sucks so much wang.
But happens to you too, TJ.
But listen. Our game was it was pretty straightforward. Virgil has been looking a little lazy at the back, and people tried to pin that on Robertson. People tried to pin that own goal on Robertson. Dude, there's no one within 5 yards of you, and Robbo's screaming that he's going to clear it, and you kick it into him. And then you could tell by the reaction right after. Virgil's walking away, refusing to look at Robbo, and Robbo's screaming at him. Virgil knew he fucked up. But you know what? When a player makes mistakes, all I ask is that he comes back and he tries to rectify it. And what does he do? Scores off of a corner, amazing goal. We win the game, one step closer. But it's kind of hard to be checked in because we're at the stage now where we only play once a week. The league is pretty much wrapped, and there's nothing exciting to look forward to. Like the only exciting thing left is to look forward to the Arsenal game and be like, I want a guard of honor and I want to win. Outside of that, I'm like, the energy going into these games is like playing Ipswich or like playing
Ipswich is challenging.
Wolves, or except I beat him twice. But regardless of that, it's hard to get really excited for the games. I guess the only thing that I'm looking at now is just the holes that we have in our game, what I think we need, the mistakes that Arne Slot's making. I mean, at least he changed the lineup into this game. He finally fucking changed the front six. Connor Bradley looked fantastic. I know what we need. The rest of the club knows what we need. We got our contracts out of the way. Mo. I mean, and also, I guess my hot take, and I know that it's a hot take of a lot of other Liverpool fans, but the fact that we have sort of stepped away from our mold, and we gave a 32-year-old Salah $400,000 a week, and we're supposedly going to make Virgil van Dijk the highest paid center back in the world. That tells me that we have money. And that tells me that going into this summer, I'm expecting to see sales and I'm expecting to see buys. That's not to say Isak, but I mean, we already made like 100 million off of Champions League. We're going to make like 100 and something odd million off of the Premier League. We might even make over 100 million in sales. I just splashed out on these two players. You're probably going to see some pretty marquee signings. You're probably going to see.
Okay, keep going. Finish that thought, and then I got a question.
I think that we're going to see a very active summer. I think that you're probably going to see like 5 or 6 players leave, and however many leave is who's going to come in. I think we'll probably make 5 buys. I don't think that we're going to get Isak, but I think that the step below him is Ekitike, and I'm perfectly happy with that. I think Kirkez is basically a shoe-in. I think that you'll probably see one midfield signing, maybe even Huijsen, and you might even see another attacker as well. But we're going to be getting rid of a lot of players. And I know that Michael Edwards doesn't buy in his first window, but it's really just the fact that they splashed the cash on these two guys that makes me think I know that we're going to do business this year. And I'm not asking for you to spend 150 on Isak. I'm just asking you to fill the holes that I can see on a week-to-week basis and to allow Arne Slot to no longer drive someone else's car, because he's doing this right now, driving a different person's car. He's in the Formula One, and Ferrari didn't give him his own. They gave him, some other dude's car, and they said, win the race. And he's winning the race, which is unexpected. But now you got to tune it to him. And I think that he'll only get
how much latitude are you giving him? Because I think he came, like you said, he came and the dinner was already made. He just needed to make sure that he saw it through. And I think that's a lot of money and a lot of time to sign Salah. I think he will eventually drop off. I think the best years of Virgil are behind him. Like, what's your latitude for a drop off, or do you think you're not going to even drop off? You're going to compete again next season.
I don't think that we're going to drop off next season. I mean, I don't need Mo to have a 60 GA year. Like, the fact that anyone where is this predication coming from? Like, everyone said every year someone says this is going to be the year that Mo finally stops. This is going to be the year that Virgil finally stops. Yet Mo has his most GA ever. In fact, the most GA ever in a 38 game season in the history of the Premier League. Virgil, listen, has he been lazy the last few weeks? Sure, but like throughout the whole year, he has been a top 3 center back in the world. It's not even an argument. I would put him up as the best, but he's out of the Champions League, XYZ. I'm not going to sit here and die on the fucking hill for that. We've given them 2-year extensions. Eventually, if you really wanted to, a year from now, if Mo just falls off the face of the earth, Saudi will come in and they will pay money for him and he'll be off. But I don't think that's going to happen, especially if we get the right tools around him, because Mo has shown that he can change the way that he plays. So if I go and I get a striker that can actually fucking score out of the 40 chances that he creates, Mo will have 25 assists next season. And he'll probably stop getting double teamed because you'll have to actually focus on the number 9. Same thing goes with Virgil. If I have Connor Bradley in there, or I get a better right back and I got a better left back and we have more control in the midfield, Virgil's going to have to do less. Like, I think that all of the improvements that will be around Virgil and Mo will make them better because they won't have to do as much. And the less they have to do, the less tired they get, the less fatigue they have, the more freedom they have. So, I don't see us dropping off. I see us hitting the ground running, going after the league once again next season. We just have to make all of the proper signings and just fix these holes that have occurred. Because Arne Slot lost 1 game in 2024, and in the first 4 months of 2025, he's lost 6. Not exactly it's quite literally the definition of falling off of a cliff. Yet we're still 76 points with the potential to finish 90 plus. I think we just need to give him some more options, allow for a little bit more squad rotation. I really think that if we got a creative midfielder to play in the 10, if we get a creative midfielder and a striker, I don't care about the fucking defense. If Mo can't get doubled because Ekitike is in there and he's on fire, and if we have a 10 whose name is not Szoboszlai and actually can create from the middle, we're just going to end up scoring more goals. And these defensive mistakes, like, I kind of get it. Like, the team lost so much. We're so far ahead. Like, it's not what I want and it's down on my standards, but it's not killing me. And I think that if this title race were closer, I probably wouldn't see Virgil making these stupid mistakes because they'd be just that little bit more switched on. But when you have a 12-point lead, it's only natural that you lose that 1% edge that makes the difference between clearing that and letting Robo come in and do it himself. But we just have to make the right signings. We signed the fucking 2 guys that we needed to. It took forever. I told you guys that look for the beginning of April. That's probably when it would be announced. And what do you know? Literally 4 days before tax season ends, we end up announcing the signing of both these players. But yeah, I don't see a drop off. And I think anyone who sees a drop off is a dickhead, because y'all said that we were going to drop off last year, and just look at the outcome of that. So just keep saying that we're going to drop off. Keep saying that we're going to take a step back, that Mo's going to suck, that Virgil's going to suck, that Trent, we're going to lose all of our creativity. It's fine. And I'll be laughing my way to the bank with a 12-point victory next season.
You want João Felix? Since you said you need a number 10? You sure?
Yeah, I was
I'm more than gladly give you a sale on João.
I think. Yeah, who are you sending the other way? That was going to be my next question. Then we're going to move on.
I think Cherokee. I think Cherokee would be a really good 10. Again, I don't think that the club views it the same way that I do. I think that a 10 is the most important signing. I think that the club views a striker as the most important signing. But I think that a 10 would just help so fucking much. And then all of a sudden, Szoboszlai could be a rotating 8. Like, Gravenberch won't have to play every minute of every fucking game because Szoboszlai can do that job. What he can't do is play on the 10. But for the outgoings, I think Nunez is officially, he's definitely gone. I think Gomez will probably leave. I think Tsimikas will be sold.
Diaz?
I think Diaz will only go if it's the right price. I think that if Barcelona came in for 60 mil, that they would sell him. But I'm just basically, Arne Slot has made it clear. The players who don't play are the players who are leaving, right? So Harvey Elliott, probably gone. Ben Doak, gone. Ben Doak's also loaned out, but he's gone. Endo, listen, if they don't get enough midfield support, I could see Arne keeping him because Endo has become his James Milner, but he's very low on the pecking order. Tsimikas never gets played. He's gone. Gomez is too injury prone and he's been at the club for too long. He's gone. Nunez is only played out of necessity. That's why he has to be gone. That's 6 players right there. And the list is probably even more extensive. Plus, you have Trent who's leaving, so that makes 7. Trent. And even if Stefan, even if Bajcetic comes back, that still makes 6. We're not going to go into next season shorthanded. However many leave is however many are going to come in. And I think that we're going to see a big summer. It might not be money, like it might not be a 300 million pound summer, but it'll be 6 players, and those will be players of quality. And I'm expecting us to sign some random from the middle of fucking nowhere that no one's ever heard of to come in and be a rotational player and cook his ass off. So,
hey, all right. I respect that. Okay, last but certainly not least, but nobody really cares, but we gotta include him anyway. Man City get a fantastic comeback victory against Crystal Palace, 5-2.
Yeah, that was a good victory actually.
That was incredible.
Crystal Palace isn't no mugs.
Yeah.
Nope,
you got some good youngsters there. McAtee coming in, pitching in, incredible goal. I was very impressed by what I saw from Man City. Yeah, give us your thoughts, Vader?
Well, yeah,
I mean, it doesn't. By the way,
no, it takes a lot to impress TJ. So when he says he saw that goal and he's impressed by it, it says a lot. James McAtee, youngster.
Yeah,
you know what? He scored that goal, and even before that, we got to give credit. Come on, Mike. You got to give credit to the keeper, who is probably the most complete footballer in the Prem. Right, the most complete footballer at keeper is Harrison. There's no denying it. This guy has now registered.
If the best ability is availability, he got subbed off in the 60th minute because he couldn't stay on the pitch.
He got hurt. Relax. It was a muscular
I'm just saying
injury.
he's been hurt he's been hurt a lot. That's all.
He's been hurt a lot this season. Yeah, unfortunately he has been. And I mean, Mike doesn't like to see his keeper go down. I don't like to see my keeper go down injured as well. And we want players like that to be consistent. Look at this. This guy's going to show up next season when it's a clean slate and he's no longer at the bottom of the Prem.
He has energy again. Again next season.
You know what? Shout out to Staffy. I do love him and his show with Jacob when those two guys. 15
you don't have to lie, Vader.
No. I do. I like listening. I like hearing
Staffy and Jacob basically said, "Fuck all you guys. We're just going to talk to ourselves."
Every fucking time.
I don't think that's true, but that's totally fine. Anyway, Vader, go ahead.
Yeah. No, but I'm just saying. Listen, amazing assist by Ederson, amazing comeback. I know Marshall, Ahmed, RSM were watching that game, and you know what? Oh, City are down 2 goals. Ooh, that's going to help us because obviously we're all fighting for this top 4.
Yeah, RSM.
Respectfully, I didn't give a fuck.
Early. I was
worried about my glove. You were at forethought.
I was actually at brunch, so I was
afterthought.
Really worried.
Oh, you're a brunch. Nice.
Yeah. They do brunch in the UK.
We did it fast, big man. Respect us.
Oh, okay.
Brunch is just beans on toast, like every other meal.
Isn't it?
You know what? What is it for you? What is it for you? Hot dogs? Yeah.
I didn't know
it's a sour tomato.
I didn't know that was gonna trigger him so much.
Yeah.
That was a good one. That was a good one, Ahmed. That was a good one.
Wait, why does Ahmed get triggered though? Because he plays
He got so triggered, bro. I don't care. The clapback was funny, but the fact that he got so triggered, it kills me.
Nah, that was funny.
Nah, he over defends England too much, man.
He does. He really does. He really does.
I'm as the early one.
I hear it.
Yeah, and respect a good. You gotta respect a good glizzy. That's all I'm gonna say. You gotta respect a good glizzy.
That's outrageous to be saying it like that, man.
Nah, I'm real, bro. The biggest glizzy gobbler that I know is Staffy.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. That's actually correct.
This guy, you wanna know how you know that?
Mina says, big up Staffy. You choose who goes in. Smash the likes. Yes, smash the likes, people. Smash the likes, people.
I'm cooked.
No. Say what you were going to say. Say what you're going to say before you go away.
Yeah, I knew that he was a different breed of guy when I figured out that he drives to 7-Elevens for hot dogs. That's how I know. That's like a 7-Eleven hot dog.
That's actually.
At least he doesn't Uber Eats it.
Me and Staffy did a glizzy tour.
But you know the thing is though, like, look, I don't mind a hot dog as long as it's grilled and it's burnt, then I'll eat it. But
that's true. That's true.
But like, Staffy eat a boiled hot dog off the street in New York, like a boiled hot dog. What do you mean by that? Like cooking hot water. That's it. No burn.
No, but yo, Will, doesn't
That's going away.
No, 7-Eleven puts it on that roller. 7-Eleven puts it on the roller. They just roll all day.
Yeah, but they don't clean that roller.
That
roller's been cooking the hot dogs for 5 years. Barely.
Dude, they haven't cleaned those hot dog carts since COVID. Dead serious.
All right. Well, you guys are stepping all over my Manchester City.
No,
I just want to say a few things. Right. Obviously, there's a top 4 battle that's happening, and it's getting really, really tight. Like every game, we're looking at who's winning, who's losing. I'm so thankful for Forest to have dropped points. I'm not gonna lie. I'm thankful that Chelsea dropped points as well, because I think it is going to be a battle between us for top 4, top 5. The performance that I saw from my players. This is the funny thing, right? When you're around long enough, and obviously with the success, you're able to see your fan base grow and hear some of the conversations. There was a time when I would complain and say, I don't want my fan base to be like United's. I don't want them reacting or overreacting like that. And it's happening. I'm hearing conversations with my fan base looking at Pep and being like, oh, he got bailed out by moments of brilliance from these players. By KDB deciding not to follow Pep's tactics and take the game by the scruff of its neck and get us the win. Like this is where the fan base is going, and this needs to stop. So I'm going to be as loud as I can.
Calling him Mauricio Pochettino.
Yeah, this is the guy with the guy with the same fan base.
Is it over for Bodie?
They're trying to start that narrative.
Rich man's Pochettino.
Nothing changed. I watched the game. I'm gonna tell you this. I watched the game once. Obviously, emotion. I'm all over the place, and I do take time. I watched the game a second time. Second time, Pep had the tactics bang on. They were spot on. It was perfect. Crystal Palace, they've been our bogey team even when Vieira was over there coaching, right? For whatever reason, they're able to kind of get results, and they're kind of jammy that way. They went up 2 goals, could have been 3. But how Pep set us up, the starting 11, the tactics, we were going to have success. It was just a matter of keeping belief and being persistent, and that delivered for us. KDB was amazing. He said, oh, everyone's talking about Declan Rice free kick. I do this in my sleep. Let me remind you guys. So he got the free kick. We got everything going. We got Marmoush going. We also had the ability to get the youngsters, like TJ mentioned, in Magety and O'Reilly. So
O'Reilly had a good one too, man. Sorry.
He did.
Yeah.
You know what? And this is weird. Pep, for a long time, until recently when we got Gavardio, and obviously we were playing Ake over there, but for a long time, Pep has been trying to make midfielders into left backs. We had Zinchenko. You know what I mean? He's now doing it with O'Reilly, who naturally within the academy is a midfielder. He's always tried to put that unorthodox, well-balanced, ball control over there as an extra midfielder. It's working out with O'Reilly. We just got to keep the momentum going. And we've got the FA Cup to shoot for. I know that's an Arsenal Cup that we all refer to, right? So I'm trying to win the Arsenal
absolutely.
Cup.
It's still my cup until United win it again.
There you go. So I'm trying to win that. And if I'm able to do that and be top 4, I'm happy with this season. Who am I to be arrogant? Who am I to be a spoiled brat? Who am I to think that I should always be winning this?
There are some people in your fan base saying that this is football is dead because you guys are statistically eliminated. So
the excitement of this league is dead. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, Mike Dawes, he's over in the cell. He's comfortable over there. He's not pressed to want to say anything. If it was really a tight battle, he'd be quick, he'd be chirping, he'd want to talk. Right now, he doesn't even know. He doesn't know.
You know the good thing about Mike Dawes? You know the good thing about Mike Dawes? I heard that
he's quiet right now.
Yeah, he's quiet. Obviously, he's a good thing. He's also a Knicks fan, isn't it? So at least he's a loser somewhere else. So he's a loser somewhere else, isn't it? So that's what matters. You know what I mean?
Oh well, as soon as the Celtics start losing, you're probably going to go back to the Nuggets, right? Anyway, all right, that's our show, guys.
I'm here for
everybody. Big up everybody. Big up the panel. Big up Marshall. Big up Will. Big up that fraud Mike Doss, who's locked away in the cell. Big up Vader. And, of course, big up Ahmed, I guess. We are going to be live next Monday, same time, same place. Well, Tuesday, 1 a.m. UK time. And, yeah, tune in. Go subscribe. Football Carnage, Casual EFC, Vader Games, The Bridge Nation. All of their links are in the description. And if you haven't subscribed to TJ Warren TV, go ahead and do that right now. We are going to go ahead and redirect over to Sarcasm City TV, where they're doing their Barbados podcast. So go over there and say TJ Warren TV raid, and we are out of here.
don't know. You're not God. You don't have the answers. You don't have the answers, Connor. You don't have the answers. Let's just say that you don't have the answers.
Right.